It's really hard to know what matters to us deep down. If it's something flippant, am I going to have meat or dairy for dinner tonight? Okay, you figure it out. It's no big deal. But if you have a really big choice to make and it's between two really good options and you're just not sure, it's hard to know, what do I really want? How do I actually feel? What matters to me? And so I actually recently learned a trick that helps decipher, where if you take a coin and you say heads is this option and tails is that option, and you flip the coin, that before it lands and you flip it over, there's like a half a second where you're instantly going to be like, oh, I hope it's, and you've identified what it is that you really feel in just an instant, just a moment, if you can catch it. But here we are on Tisha B'Av, supposed to be longing for the Beis HaMikdash, supposed to be wishing the Messiah, Mashiach, was here, supposed to wish we were headed to Israel. Does the Beis HaMikdash really matter to me? Do I really have Hashem in my heart? Is he residing there? Could I pass a lie detector test? That I want Mashiach to come and for all this that I have now to disappear and we all head to Israel and build the Beis HaMikdash and all be there? Like, that's what I really want. Like, deep down, could I pass? What would the coin flip reveal about how I really feel? And if it's not what we're going for here on Tisha B'Av, what can I do about that? So the sages tell us, Kol dor she'eno nivne b'yamav ki'ilu nechrav b'yamav. That any generation, anyone who didn't build the Beis HaMikdash in their days, it's as if they destroyed it in their days. Destroyed it? Are we destroying the Beis HaMikdash? What do you mean? And forget us. What about the generations before us? The generation that wrote the Mishnah? For generations, like, they destroyed the Beis HaMikdash? What about the ones that wrote the Talmud? Did they destroy? What about Rashi? What about the Rambam? Did they destroy the Beis HaMikdash? And if they did, then like, what chance do I have? I destroyed the Beis HaMikdash? Like, how fair is that? It doesn't sound like something that I could reasonably accept, that because it didn't get built in my lifetime, I did it. And let's take the flip side. Let's flip the coin over. How can I possibly rebuild the Beis HaMikdash in my lifetime? What can this guy really do about building the Beis HaMikdash? Are we going to hire contractors or try to get the big rabbis to say now is the time? It's up to him when we're going to build it. What am I building? How does that make any sense? And what is my personal responsibility? So let me tell you a story. My daughter was once sitting with me in the car. And we were eating lunch in the car, whatever it was. And it was during a holiday where we would say the special paragraph in benching called Ya'aleh V'Yavo during the Grace of Meals to commemorate the fact that it was the holiday. And she says to me, I got a question for you, Abba. What do I do if I forget the special paragraph? What do I do if I forget Ya'aleh V'Yavo? Do I have to repeat the whole benching, the whole Grace After Meals? And we had a conversation about it. We talked about it. And ultimately, she went and she said, okay, now I'm going to bench. Now I'm going to say the Grace After Meals. And like 2 minutes later, she looks at me and she's like, Abba, you're not going to believe it. I forgot Ya'aleh V'Yavo. It's like, oh, man. Like, we had it and missed it. Now it's gone. And how often does it happen to us in our lives? Where we're saying the prayers, and we're like, there's Ya'aleh V'Yavo. It's one paragraph away. And we're like, say it. Poof, our brains are gone. We're thinking about something else. And then we're like, oh, I forgot it. I can't believe I missed it. It was like 30 seconds, 3 seconds later, like, poof, gone. How common is that in our lives where we get so caught up in the habit that we just completely forget everything behind it? And habits are a funny thing. Habits are a double-edged sword, because you have to build the habits in order to accomplish anything. But most things then become habitual. And if they become habitual, they become devoid of thought. And if they become devoid of thought, they become devoid of meaning. And they become devoid of meaning, they just become rote, and we just keep rolling. In our lives, in our spirituality, in our relationships, we're just showing up and going through the motions. It's like when you go on a long drive and your brain turns off. And you're like, how did I just drive like 30 miles and I have no recollection of anything? Because there's no meaning. It's just habitual. You're from here and you just keep rolling to there. As a matter of fact, on those holidays, sometimes some people actually wrap tefillin where others don't. But the way that you wrap tefillin is that you don't actually make a blessing. But we've been making a blessing every single day of the whole year. It's actually an effort to not make a blessing because it's so habituated. It's so deeply ingrained that we have to stop doing it. You have to be completely conscious of the fact to not actually fall into the habit that you do every day. Most of the time, we're trying to build the habits. And so I think there are 2 steps to utilize habits. Number 1 is we got to build the habits. That in order to accomplish anything, you have to build habits. And the best way that I've learned to build habits, I recently learned this and I think it's genius, is a concept called habit stacking, where you identify things that you're already doing. Habits you already have. We all have things that are completely part of our day, completely part of our nature, and you stack something on top of it. So for example, if I get up every morning and the first thing I do is I go make myself a cup of coffee, but I'm trying to build the habit of when I wake up, I want to say Moda'ani, then I leave my kippah right by the coffee maker and I go immediately to the coffee maker and say Moda'ani. Coffee equals Moda'ani. I've stacked the Moda'ani habit on top of what I'm already doing making the coffee. If I'm trying to get to the point of working out, I get dressed every day. And like, I would really love that the first thing I do every day is work out, but all my workout clothes are on the bottom shelf and I'm lazy. I don't want to reach down. So what if I stack the habit and move the workout clothes to be at eye level? And if they're at eye level, the first thing I see is the workout clothes and I'm like, just grab it and go and stack the habit. What if I want to drink more water? And I realized that like I never have access to the water. So I started a habit where at the end of every workday, I always close my laptop. So I keep bottles of water right there. And as soon as I close my laptop, my new habit is that I put a bottle of water on there. So the next morning when I go there and I start my workday, I've got a bottle of water I'm starting immediately. Habit stacking. Just a clever way where you can take the things you're already doing and add to it so that we can stack habits and build the things we want to do. What are the things that I'm doing already? And how do I attach the growthful things that I'm trying to build toward? And it's an incredible, incredible way to build habits, number 1. Number 2, we have to assign meaning. We have to make them meaningful. So for example, I was not somebody that wanted to exercise or work out at all. And so I would try and I would go once in a while and I'd get into a groove and maybe it would become like a New Year's resolution kind of thing. And I'd show up for a little bit and then I'd fall back and then go once a week. And then it was 5 times a week and there was no consistency around it because there was no meaning. There was no purpose. It was like getting healthy wasn't enough to get me up and working until I found obstacle course racing, until I found Spartan race. And I signed up for a race and suddenly I had meaning for the habit of going to the gym every day. Every time I went, it became purposeful because there's now a reason to go. There's meaning behind the habit. I always struggled with prayer. We're saying the same thing every day. And I know the meaning should be that I've got a family, I've got a business, I got things that are important to me. Of course, I should be able to pray for those things, but it wasn't enough for some reason. In me, it wasn't motivating as a reason to finally get in there until I had a trip to Israel, had a chance to meet a group of soldiers from the Air Force. I got sat next to an Air Force pilot, and he and I decided, like everybody else in the room at the time, that we were going to exchange names. And he was going to pray for me, and I was going to pray for him. And that clicked in my brain where suddenly the habit of praying every day with meaning suddenly mattered because I now have in my hands this Air Force pilot who's going to be up in the air over Gaza, over Iran, or whatever the world's going to play out to be, where his life now, I'm praying for the things, and he's protecting Israel, and he's risking his life, and I can't get myself motivated to pray. If I'm going to say his name every day, I'm going to do it with gusto. And then once I'm actually doing that and I've got meaning behind it, I can have it stack in my business. I can have it stack in my family. I can have it stack in my extended. I can have it stack in all the people that are sick that I'm trying to think about, which logic would say it should work the other way. Aren't those things meaningful to you? Of course they are. But we need the thing that creates the meaning for us, that motivates us to move forward. And for me, that was the magic. That made it all work. Go even further. I'm someone that struggled with the idea of learning Talmud every day. That's for other people, the people who learn it every day. And like in 7.5 years, they've learned 2,711 pages. And now they're going to finish the whole thing. Like that's for other people. Like I'll study every day. I'll pop in, I'll check the box, but it's not for me. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not built like that. That's for other more holy people. Until when the last cycle ended and I went to the big celebration with my son, and I'm thinking, dad of the year, right? I got my son, he's at the big celebration, the Daf Yomi, it's like, oh my God, this is amazing, and it was 3 hours long, and he's engaged the whole time, and I'm thinking, this is how you do it. You bring your son, you show him what's important, this is fantastic. And as it ended, I turned to him and I was like, what did you think? And my son says, that was great. I loved every minute of it. And I'm like, yes, that's how you teach your kid. Oh, amazing. And then he keeps going and he says, but I don't want to go to the next one. I said, why do you want to go to the next one? He goes, well, you didn't do it, so what do I care? And that night, for the first time, I sat through page 1 of the Daf Yomi, of the Talmud. And here we are, less than a year away from 7.5 years to complete it. I never in a million years thought that was who I was. But suddenly, the idea of building a habit and then attaching meaning to it, my son became the meaning. He was 11 years old at the time, and the thought of like from 11 to 18 is going to be his formative years of study. And if he sees his dad opening the book every day, could change the whole perspective around how he would view learning and studying. It just became important. We attach meaning, and I was in. And then I was able to habit stack it and say, you know what, when am I going to do it? Well, you know what? At the end of the workday, I always finish at some point and go home. Maybe I don't go home until I finish it. Habit stack. And suddenly, we've got a setup where we can build habits that don't become rote because they have so much meaning behind them. They have so much depth. They're so important to us that it attaches to our heart. And we actually now feel connected to them. We actually know that deep inside of us, they matter. And so, Rashi, the Rambam, me, we destroyed the Beis HaMikdash. We destroyed you can't even fathom it. And my Rebbe, Reb Shmuel Brazil, he explained that Kol Dor She'eino Nivne B'Yamav, in our days. The letter Beis at the beginning can mean in, that whoever didn't build it in their days, it was as if they destroyed it in their days. But the letter Beis can mean with as well. Whoever didn't build it with their days, it was like they destroyed it with their days. We have the opportunity to take our efforts and our time and build the Beis HaMikdash in our days with our daily habits, our mitzvos, our Torah study, our prayers, our chesed, the good deeds that we do every single time that we do something for Him, as prescribed by Him. They make our days the type of days that build the Beis HaMikdash. They make our days the bricks where who knows how long it's going to take, who knows what His time frame is, but He's asking of us to use our days to put bricks in. And Rashi did his, and the Rambam did his, and we have to do ours. But how do we do that? How do we stay out of the habitual so that the things that we're doing, it's like, yeah, it's just another mitzvah. It's the thing I do every day. Oh, it's the prayers. I just say them every day. Yeah, I know you told me to do it, but it's not. Is that really with our days? Are we really putting the meaning into it? How do we light it all up? And Reb Shmuel again, who wrote the song, Bilvavi Mishkan Evne, explained to me that Bilvavi Mishkan Evne, in our hearts, we should build the Mishkan. The Mishkan, the Beis HaMikdash, the place that Hashem comes down and rests. When he built the Beis HaMikdash, the whole purpose of it is it's the home of Hashem in this world. And yes, Hashem is everywhere and he's in everything, but the Shekhinah comes down. His holy divine spirit comes down and lives in the Beis HaMikdash, in the Mishkan. And Bilvavi Mishkan Evne, if we can build in our hearts a home for him, then he will bring that Shekhinah down. He will bring himself to rest within our hearts. We have to do that work to build it. And how do we do it? By assigning meaning to each one of the actions that we do. So every good deed and every mitzvah and every prayer and every habit that we do and everything that we lean toward Hashem and we say, I'm doing this for you. It's not just something habitual, but it's something that's meaningful. It's because you know what? Now I have a purpose. It's not just I'm praying for whatever. It's not just I'm doing chesed because I'm trying specifically to put a mishkan, a Beis HaMikdash in my own heart so that he can come down and rest within me. Everything that I do has that level of purpose. Everything has that level of meaning. So when Hashem rests in our hearts, and we've built the bricks of the Beis HaMikdash, and we've given him a home to reside in, here, right here. Suddenly, what matters to us deeply is what's in our heart. And we can pass the lie detector test that we want him. We can pass the lie detector test that we want Mashiach. We can pass the test that we want the Beis HaMikdash because we've worked and put all this effort into this meaning, these mitzvos, the Torah study, all the effort that we've put in for him to build a home for him in our hearts. And now he lives within us. Our whole being changes. We long for him more. We can long for the Beis HaMikdash. And we can actually believe and feel at the deepest level that if we flip that coin, do we want Mashiach right now? That half a second won't even be a wonderment. Forget flipping the coin. You will want him, you will feel him, and once you can sense and taste that Hashem is in your life, all you want is more. And we should just all spend this fast day, this holiday, thinking about how in our coming days we can make them the days that stack the bricks of the Beis HaMikdash from Hera v'Yameinu.